Hello everyone, my name is Ahmad Irfan and today I'll be presenting my research titled Favorite Pokemon Choices Among Different Groups of People. Before we begin, here's a quick overview of what I'll be covering in this presentation. First, I'll explain the background and purpose of the research. Then I'll describe how the survey was designed and distributed. After that, I'll present the main findings including the most popular Pokemon, the preferred types, and personality correlation. I'll also discuss how nostalgia and emotion influence these choices. Finally, I'll summarize the key result and conclusion from this study. Introduction and purpose. Pokemon has captured fans' imagination for nearly 30 years. With over 1,000 Pokemon, choosing a favorite can be tricky. Is it their design, power, cuteness, or nostalgia? To make analysis easier, this study focuses on 9 starter generation and 10 popular Pokemon. I created a Google form with 20 questions and 133 people participated. The survey asked about demographics, Pokemon familiarity, favorite types, and simple personality traits. The data was analyzed using Google Sheets and chart to reveal patterns in fans' choices. In my survey, the top 3 favorites were Rayquaza, Pikachu, Eevee, Gengar, and Bulbasaur. But in the 2020 official poll, the winner was Greninja followed by Lucario and Mimikyu. Other top Pokemon back then included Charizard and Umbreon. What's interesting is that a few Pokemon like Rayquaza and Umbreon are still popular even after a few years, but overall my result shows that people today prefer more familiar and friendly Pokemon like Pikachu and Eevee. For Pokemon type, Fire types were the most popular overall, followed by Fairy and Electric. Psychic and Water were also common, while Fighting, Grass and Ghost appeared less often. This shows that Fire types are consistently viewed as strong and exciting, making them the most popular type across all groups. When I saw the preferred type with genders, Fire types were the most popular for both male and female participants. However, females also favored Fairy types, while males preferred Psychic and Fighting types. Participants who preferred not to state their gender lean more towards Ghost types. So even though Fire is a shared favorite, the next choices show that gender still plays a small role, with females drawn to softer, elegant types like Fairy, and males leaning towards stronger, more competitive ones like Fighting and Psychic. This suggests that gender can still influence Pokemon preference, especially when it comes to what kind of traits people find appealing. Next, I tried to see if personality have influence over their Pokemon choices. The survey shows that ambiverts showed the widest range of favorites, often choosing Rayquaza, Pikachu, and Gengar. Introverts prefer Rayquaza, Eevee, and Umbreon, while extroverts lean toward Charizard, Lucario, and Eevee. Although there were fewer extroverts, Pokemon like Rayquaza and Pikachu appeared across all personality groups. This shows that some Pokemon design appeals to everyone. Next, I wanted to see if people who actually play or watch Pokemon pick different favorites compared to those who only kind of know about it. From the result, people who play or watch Pokemon regularly mostly chose Rayquaza, Umbreon, Eevee, and Gengar, basically the stronger or more well-known Pokemon among long-time fans. Meanwhile, people who only know a little about Pokemon went for Pikachu, Bulbasaur, and Charizard, which are classic and more recognizable from the early games or the anime. For those who said they only recognize Pikachu, most of them just pick Pikachu, which makes total sense. So overall, players and watchers tend to choose more competitive or legendary Pokemon, while casual fans prefer familiar ones they grew up seeing. To understand why people choose their favorite Pokemon, I also asked a few open-ended questions, like why they picked it, whether it reminded them of childhood, and if personality played a role. From the response, I found that nostalgia was the biggest reason. 35% of the participants said their choice reminded them of childhood memories. The second most common reason was simply because the Pokemon look cool or cute, showing that appearance plays a big part too. A few people mentioned they like strong or mysterious looking Pokemon, while some had more personal answers, like picking a Pokemon because it reminded them of a pet or because they resonated with its types, such as being a water sign. In interviews, participants gave even more personal stories. One said, "I just really like the silly and girly pop ones." Another said, "Blaziken was my first starter in Pokemon Ruby, so it just stuck with me." Someone else mentioned, "I've loved goats for a long time. I'm energetic and adventurous, just like Go-Goat." This response shows that favorite Pokemon aren't chosen randomly. They reflect memories, feelings, and self-expression. People pick Pokemon that represents who they are, what they like, or what they've grown up with. So at the end of my survey, I asked people a really fun question. If Pokemon were real, what would you keep it as? And the answer were honestly adorable. Here's what people said. 20 people said they would keep their Pokemon as a battle partner. 64 people said they would keep their Pokemon as a best friend, because who needs a human bestie when you can have Pikachu by your side, right? 60 people said they would keep it as a helper for daily life. Could you imagine a Machamp helping you move furniture? Or an Alakazam helping with your homework? And 33 people said they would keep it as a pet. So overall, most people don't just want a Pokemon to battle. They want one to bond with. It really shows how much Pokemon means to us. Not just as a creature to train, but also as a friend we would love to have in real life. And now, I want to know, if Pokemon were real, what would yours be? A battle partner? A best friend? A helper? Or just the cutest pet ever? Hearing how people would treat Pokemon if they were real really sums up what this whole research is about. Whether as a best friend, a pet, or a battle partner, it shows how much Pokemon means to different people. And that connection we have, even to imaginary creatures, says a lot about why we love them in the first place. So now to wrap everything up, here's what I found overall. To sum up, this research found that people's favorite Pokemon are influenced by familiarity, nostalgia, and small group difference. Fire types were the most popular overall, making them the clear fan favorite. Both male and females like fire types, but their next choice differed. Females lean toward fairy, while males preferred psychic and fighting types. Regular players often pick stronger or legendary Pokemon like Rayquaza and Lucario, while casual fans prefer familiar ones like Pikachu and Eevee. Overall, people don't just choose Pokemon for their strength. They choose based on memories, connection, and what simply feels right to them. That will be the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching.